Hello, I'm John, a Year 2 student from the Diploma of Engineering Science, and today I'll be covering about my diploma. Here are some of the topics that I'll be covering, ranging from some of the highlights that you'll experience here in your 3 years, as well as some of the opportunities that await you as an engineering science student. If at any point in time you want to skip ahead, please refer to the timestamps in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. If you're passionate about engineering applications, as well as are strong in math and physics, well, this course is for you. Engineering Science, or ES, is a unique diploma which aims to build a strong foundation in engineering through the 4 main pillars of physics and math, computing, electronic engineering, and mechanical engineering. This strong foundation prepares students for further studies, as well as a career in research and development. Many of our seniors went on to pursue further studies with prestigious scholarships, locally or overseas. Here are some of our ES alumni. As you embark into your first week, you'll be greeted by your seniors, student leaders from the Engineering Science Academic Club. As seniors, they will help freshies transition smoothly into the course through a specially created ES Bonding Day. Bonding Day is a great opportunity to get to know your classmates better, as well as get first-hand experience from your seniors on what to expect in the next 3 years. In your first year, you will learn many of the common modules taken by first-year students of the School of Engineering, such as programming, electrical engineering fundamentals, mechanical engineering fundamentals, analog electronics, AC circuits, digital fundamentals, and integrated real-world project 1 and 2. These modules expose you to the fields of engineering, as well as build your foundations for more complex topics in Year 2. In Year 1, you will also be taking ES-specific modules called Applied Mathematics 1 and 2. This is more rigorous and content-heavy compared to the normal maths module, Engineering Mathematics. These topics will stretch your learning in mathematics and prepare you for more complex topics in your coming years. It will also build a strong foundation in mathematics, which is essential for further studies, as well as equip you with the ability to solve more complex engineering problems and train your problem-solving skills. Here are some highlights on some of the mini projects we did in our modules in Year 1. In IRP 1, you will focus on project building skills, which require you to build small projects of your own. It also incorporates some of the things you learn from other modules to help you with designing your projects. One project you will be tasked with is to design a working catapult. You will also need to optimize your catapult in order to meet the targets you are given. In IRP 2, you can integrate what you have learned so far in engineering to build a project that aims to solve a pain point within the community. This project will be drawing from all the experience you have accumulated so far in your Year 1. Here are some of the examples of the projects students have done. Now that's all for your first year. Moving on to the second year. The second year will introduce more advanced modules, which encompass the 4 main pillars. These modules include Materials and Manufacturing Technology, Thermal Fluids, Embedded Systems, Object-Oriented Programming, Data Structures and Algorithms, Physics 1 and 2, and Integrated Real-World Project 3 and 4. Here are some of the highlights of the Year 2 modules you can look forward to. In Physics 1 and 2, the module is very theoretically based, and our projects involve writing a report on specific physics topics. This gives you the opportunity to dive deep into the topics you are learning and build better intuition on the physical interactions you will be studying. In IRP 4, we integrate our learning with real-world settings by building a sensor controlled by ESP32 microcontroller with an IoT monitoring through a cloud-based dashboard for an urban agriculture setting. We are exposed to the new field of urban farming through our service learning journey and grow our urban vegetable in Engineering Science Center in a so-called urban setting in just 28 days. And finally, we have come to the final year, Year 3. In Year 3, we learn more domain-specific modules such as Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, Circuit Analysis and Design, and System Modeling and Control. We also take Integrated Real-World Project 5, where we integrate what we have learned through the AI Machine Learning module and System Modeling and Control module with emerging applications such as autonomous robots.
So I chose to go on an internship because I really wanted to find out what we do as a student, like project planning, project management and prototyping looked like at a professional level. So I decided to go intern at Singapore's Defence Science and Technology Agency, otherwise known as DSTA. And I was under their Land Systems Program Center in the Social Systems and Robotics cluster.
So for my year 3 semester 1, I decided to go for an internship. Specifically, I decided to work under this company called Singtel. My department that I was assigned to was 5G Enterprises, which deals with B2B matters regarding 5G infrastructure. So my main job scope was mainly data collection and collecting the different speed results that are like set requirements by our clients. So to hit certain KPIs, and then my job was just to collate everything to make sure that it's all in line.
In my year 3 semester, I took on the path of a final year project, and I did a final year project with the technology cluster in the transportation area. Basically, what we did was to build an autonomous robot that uses deep learning and computer vision to do its navigation, which is a little bit different from the common navigation way using LiDAR sensors and different sensors. But we thought that deep learning is an up-and-coming thing, and that is something that we wanted to try to implement on autonomous vehicles and autonomous robots. And that's why my partner and I decided to pursue down that path for my FYP project.
So, like I mentioned, I really wanted to learn about how what we did as a student looked like at the industry level, and I wanted to know what else went, because DSTA is it's like a stat board under MINDEF, so I really wanted to know like what Singapore was doing to keep our country safe, and I wanted to see what that was like.
So I decided to go for an internship first because I felt like I needed a platform for myself to really test the skills that I've acquired in Ngee Ann Poly. As a student, we go through 2 years of education, and before I graduate, I just needed this opportunity to really see how all the skills that I've learned really apply in the real world before making a crucial decision in my life to continue engineering as my further studies degree. So why did I choose Singtel is because I'm a scholar under Singtel, and it's a requirement in the contract to go for an internship.
For me, the final year project is a project that allows me to put the skills that I've learned in ES over the past 2 to 3 years to actually do something that I can see is relevant to the industry as well as relevant to engineering. So I thought that in most of the ES courses, there's a lot of programming modules, and those programming modules really excites me. And I thought, why not try something to put these programming skills that I've learned into building a project, because there are a lot of things in programming where we may not learn the exact code in our classroom, but actually we can make use of the transferable skills to put it into the project and then use it and to build something, which was something that really excited me throughout the whole FYP journey.
So, if you're familiar with the concept of telekinesis, which is like controlling objects with your mind, right? That was kind of what my project was. The formal name of my project was Beyond AI, Brain-Computer Interfaces. So my project was actually to build a brain-computer interface, which would basically function like telekinesis. So my project was to take brain waves and translate them into movement commands, in turn to control a robot.
I didn't really have projects, but mostly, personally didn't have any projects, but my department had different clients to deal with at different times. So I can't really disclose what companies that we worked with, but most of the time it was really based on the outdoors. There are different 5G antennas set up at strategic locations that were given by the client, and after the antennas are set up, we as a department had to make sure that the requirements that were given by the client are met with our antennas. So that, like I said before, there's a lot of data collection, a lot of collation of results that needed to be done, and my main job scope was just to do that.
So for my project, we use deep learning in the sense of we took pictures of the floor and then we use labeling software to actually segmentate out the parts where it's a drivable region for the robot. Then we put it into a deep learning algorithm to train it. After that, the computer will be able to identify which is the drivable area of the floor. And then we allow the user to actually select a point within the field of vision of the robot. And when the user selects a point, the robot will be able to autonomously navigate towards that point. And if it sees any obstacle, it will stop along the way. So that is one of the applications of deep learning, because we're looking at how we can make use of computer vision into applying it into something that is very useful. And a lot of autonomous robots use very expensive sensors. So we want to eliminate those sensors and just use basic cameras such as webcams. And that is the gist of how we design the project and how we design the system.
Throughout my experience, I not only learned everything that I had set out to learn, like I mentioned before, but I also learned a lot about the amount of work that goes into protecting Singapore. Because before I interned there, right, I didn't really care about what the military was doing. As long as Singapore wasn't in war, I really didn't care. So when I just realized the sheer amount of work that went into keeping everyone safe, I was a bit stressed out, I won't lie, but I found that, perhaps in the future I really wanted to work in this organization because I think it's very meaningful. I think I learned the most throughout my internship by speaking with people in the company, not just my mentors, but the staff that were in my department as well. Because they not only offered me guidance and mentorship on my project, even though they weren't my mentors, but just speaking with them, they would share with me advice about future studies and career. And when you see how they work on their own projects or when they have to present to the deputy CEO or stuff like that, I feel like even if you're not them, I still learned a lot of soft skills, which I'm trying to hone even after my internship period. Yes.
I think the most important lesson that I've learned was the importance of networking. So when you first join the company as an intern, you're like a bird out of an eggshell. You are not really sure, so the first thing you should do is to get to know all your colleagues as much as possible, because your colleagues are the ones that will help you go through any troubles that you might meet when you are first starting out. And after you're finished with your internship, networking and staying in contact with your colleagues will ensure that there will be possible job opportunities for you in the future, be it in the company or elsewhere. So having that option open, it's really useful. I think another lesson that I learned was how to present myself as an individual better. And with the shift because of COVID-19 to the online world, there is an emphasis on how you present yourself with your computer or in real life as well. There needs to be a balance. So by picking up certain traits and lessons from my colleagues and my peers, I was able to see how well they were able to showcase their professionalism on camera or in real life. And by learning all these small details and picking them up, I feel like as a whole, I was able to present myself as a person better.
Throughout the experience of FYP, I think one very important thing that I've learned is that there's actually a lot of answers everywhere. And the skill of searching for the answer is really important. Because a lot of times when we are building or coding, we may not have learned it in the textbook itself, but a lot of these answers are out there in the internet, and we need to go out to source for these answers and also try to solve for these ways to solve our problem. At the same time, I also learned a lot of project management skill, because these soft skills are not taught in the classroom, but through FYP project, since it's a project, we need to lay out the timetable, lay out what we want to do, and then try to keep up with the tasks. It's really a platform for me to develop the project management skill. That is a soft skill that I think will be very useful after I graduate, whether I go out to work or in my university life. Thank you.
I hope the above summary of the academic experience here in ES provides you with a good overview. As for co-curricular activities, there are two clubs which are heavily involved in the student life of ES students. The first is ESAC, otherwise known as Engineering Science Academic Club, who hosted the bonding day for Year 1 students. The club also organizes various enrichment activities for the course, which aim to create a fun and amicable environment for all ES students to have a conducive place to grow and learn from each other. We usually host our club's activities in our Engineering Science Center, which is a place where ES students can do their self-study in between classes. Engineering Interest Group, or EIG, on the other hand, is a SOE-wide CCA founded by ES students with the aim to be more than an engineer. The student leaders in the club conduct various events to provide engineering students with an environment to upskill themselves through engineering and soft skill sets. The event also provides opportunities for engineering students to work with people from different fields, such as different schools or public organizations with various projects that are ongoing. They host various hackathons and workshops sprinkled throughout the school year. Of course, there are also various other CCAs that ES students join, such as SOE Rangers, MP Ambassadors, Astronomy Club, Chess Club, Toastmasters, Taekwondo Club, just to name a few. Do talk to your seniors during your first week to find out more. Engineering Science is truly a place where you can meet amazing people and watch yourself grow and develop further. If you have a love for engineering and the sciences, or are curious to explore these fields further, we warmly welcome you to join us here at Engineering Science, here at NP. Hope to see you soon! Stepping on these grounds one last time. I don't know, I guess it's just now hitting me. And I just can't help but reminisce. I remember when I received my acceptance letter to the course. I felt so scared and a little anxious, but mostly excited. It was my first step to achieving my dream of becoming an engineer. As I look forward to the long journey ahead of me, I remember the 3 years I've spent in engineering science that have honed and shaped the person I am today. Year 1 brought about a fresh encounter with engineering concepts that helped build the foundation for the next 3 years. Everything was completely new to me, so I had to catch up with those who had more experience, but it was so much fun. In Year 2, coupled with the knowledge and experience in Year 1, we took a deeper dive into more advanced concepts and put our hands together to work on more complicated projects to hone our skills further. Year 3 was the year where we took everything we had accumulated and put it to good use, either through our internships or final year projects, which symbolizes the time we had spent in our 3 years. The road was never easy, and nobody said it would be. Did I have doubts? Yeah, sure. Were there times where I wanted to give up? Definitely. But, and it may sound rugged and cliche, the difficult times really forged the best qualities within me, as well as the friends and memories that I've made here. If you asked me if I would do it all over again, my answer will always be yes. I had an unforgettable time here, and I'm sure you would too. We all have our doubts and fears, but that should never stop us from taking that first step towards our dreams. So why not take your first step here at Engineering Science?